Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video, we will be doing a shifter rebuild on my 96 NA Miata, though the process should be similar for NAs and NBs. Let's go over what you may need to complete the rebuild. I'm using an old soap pump to pump out the fluid from the turret. A razor blade will be used to cut off the old rubber boot. A pair of pliers to remove the old shifter bushing. Super lube to get the new boot on. A Phillips screwdriver to remove the center console, and a 10mm socket and ratchet for the upper and lower shifter boots. Here are the parts we will be replacing in this video: the upper and lower shifter boot, and the shifter bushing. The part numbers are here and in the video description. One thing I forgot to include in this part of the video is a good 75W90 transmission fluid. A common fluid people love is REDLINE MT90. First, we will start by removing the center console. The center console has 5 Phillips head screws, 2 on each side at the very front, 1 in the cup holder area, and 2 under the center console lid. Simply twist off your shifter knob, and now you should be ready to remove the center console. You will need to guide your trunk and gas cap release lever through this rubber grommet. You can either set the center console off to the side like I did here, or completely remove it by unplugging the 2 plugs that I will be pointing to right about now. You can choose to undo these plugs to completely remove the center console. You should now be left with several pieces of insulation, if they're still there after 30 years of course. Set them off to the side and remember the order that they are in for reinstallation. Now we are ready to remove the upper shifter boot. There are 4 10mm bolts. This plastic clip attaching the wire will pop out with just a little pressure. As you may be able to tell, this shifter boot has seen better days. I'm glad I'm replacing it now. And this lower one is not any better. Let's get that one off. This one is held on by 3 10mm bolts. And now the shifter is ready to pull right out. Remember to grab some shop towels, as I forgot some here. If you know anything about gear oil, you don't want this on your interior carpet or seats. Here's what your shifter should look like when you pull it out. Make sure you set it somewhere where you won't get it dirty. You're going to want to make sure you clean around your shifter turret. You don't want anything falling in there. This final plastic bushing should just pop right out. There it is. Now it's time to start disassembling the shifter. The 2 things here that we will be replacing are the lower rubber shifter boot and the shifter bushing on the bottom. In the middle, we have a bushing and a wave washer that can only go one way. You're going to cut apart the rubber boot so you can easily slide it off the shifter. Now this next plastic bushing with the wave washer should easily slide off. Now we're ready to remove and replace that bottom shifter bushing. Pull off the old shifter bushing with a pair of pliers. It shouldn't take too much force to come off. That's definitely looking old. Now, to put the new bushing on, simply push down and pop it in place. There we go. I'd recommend using more than a shop rag to dampen the blow. Make sure that after you've cleaned everything up, to put it back in the correct order. The bushing with the wave washer will go on first, with the wave washer on the top. Here's the point that I found out: the rubber boot will need a little help to slide over the shifter. Nothing a little grease won't fix. I found that a good portion of grease can get both shifter boots over the shifter. Now, before we can put the shifter back in, we need to get all the old fluid out and some new fluid back in there. I found that an old soap dispenser works quite well for this. I mentioned REDLINE MT90 earlier in the video, though I couldn't get my hands on any before the trip. Any GL4 rated 75W90 fluid should do the trick. Make sure to forget a plastic bushing like I did here. Now that we got that sorted out, we can just pop this in. It only goes one way, as you can see here with the groove. The shifter itself is only able to go one way as well. There we go. Now you should be able to spin the lower rubber boot to line up the bolt holes. You won't want to tighten these bolts too much, as you can easily strip out the threads in the aluminum shifter turret. The reason I'm doing this rebuild is mainly because of the shifter boots. It didn't really feel bad before, but this feels much better. Now we're ready to replace the upper shifter boot. This one will slide right over the shifter, just like the lower one did. Pop this clip securing the wire back into place on this metal bracket. You also won't want to go wild on these bolts either. Clean up any leftover grease left on the shifter. Now we will reinstall the insulation. Here's how mine came apart. And now we're ready to reinstall our center console. Remember the two release levers in the back, and also make sure you tuck all the wires in on the sides. You can now reinstall the shifter knob. Wow, that feels great. And then it's time for the 5 Phillips head screws. And with all that out of the way, your quick shifter rebuild should be complete, and I hope it feels fantastic for you. I also hope that this video helps anyone looking to make their Miata shift a little nicer, and smell a lot less like gear oil. That'll be all for this one. Like and subscribe if you're interested in more NA Miata content. Thank you for watching.